Hey there everyone, making my latest video here for one of the sewing machines, one of my favorites for restoring. I restore domestic vintage home sewing machines, and I restore lots of Singers, White and Kenmore rotaries, and Necchis. Those are some of my favorites. And one of the most coveted Necchis from the vintage era is one like you're seeing right here. Of course, these machines, these Necchis, were made in Pavia, Italy. And this is the Necchi BU Nova. And the primary contribution of the Necchi company is that they were the first company to ever come out with zigzag stitching in a home machine. And the machine is built very heavily. It has a very thick casting, much thicker than the Japanese machines that would come later, although those are wonderful in their own right. Very simple to operate. You have stitch length control on the front. This is reverse. You have a bobbin winder here on the front as well. And then you have tension. Your upper tension is controlled here. And of course, you have needle position, which is unusual for a vintage machine. You can move your needle position around. I'm going to keep it in the center for today. And then of course, you have zigzag control here. So anyway, just wanted you guys to see and get a feel for how the machine works. And I'm going to be demonstrating on a variety of materials today. This machine is very popular amongst people who do upholstery, people who sew heavy canvas or tarps. Sunbrella material is another one, and also some light leather work. And I'm going to be demonstrating a bunch of materials for you today. This is a domestic machine, but it was built to what I like to think of as industrial standards. Okay, it was not used in factories, because they had much heavier and more powerful machines for the factories. But the quality of construction is something I like to call industrial. And here's an example of, I have a number of attachments, and you'll see these in the photographs when I post this on Craigslist. But this is an example. This is a rolled hem foot. And of course, these were machined in Italy. They're beautiful, right? The quality of the attachments is equal to the quality of the machine. And it's really amazing because no one makes anything like this anymore, at least not for the home on a domestic level. So I will, like I say, you'll see a box of attachments. It comes in a gorgeous mahogany cabinet. But I'm going to start out sewing some material for you. I've got a couple of layers. This is, I'd say, medium weight drapery fabric, sort of a dense weave here. And I'll start out with a long straight stitch, which is what I like to do when I'm demonstrating the stitch quality of any machine. Of course, I can back tack. You can get up fairly quick speed on this machine. Not all vintage machines sew super fast, but this is one of those. And let me just take this out and I'll show you guys. I'll show you what the stitches look like. So I've got pink thread as my top thread here, and then on the back, get my thread tails out of the way, you can see the actual bobbin thread. I'm going to go ahead and add a couple more layers to this, and so we'll have 4. And again, for a machine of this power, that's really nothing to that. It's not a, the machine has more than enough power to handle this. Okay, guys, I ran out of bobbin thread, so I had to wind my bobbin. And if you decide to come and see the machine, I'll show you how it works. They're very simple. So now I'm going to go through 4 layers of this same drapery weight fabric. And I'm going to sew a very narrow zigzag for you, so you can get an idea of what the zigzag capability on Necchis is, which is pretty awesome. Here's the top zigzag, and you can see it will go a lot wider. I almost never showed that version, and here you can see I was crossing over some of the early stitches. But again, wonderful tension, very strong stitcher. Again, there's a reason why a lot of people who do marine projects like these. They like Necchis particularly. And so now I've got some very dense nylon here. This is something you might make out of a handbag. It's also going to be similar to some of the outdoor fabric, and it's a coated fabric. So there's 3 layers of it. It's not thick, but it's very dense, and so you want a strong machine that can puncture this stuff. And I'm going to sew on the side that has, I've used this before with a red thread, I've got a pink, so it should show up for us really well. Go back to straight for a moment. I'm going to shorten my stitch length just to let you see the short version of this. And again, it goes right through this, this nylon, very dense nylon, pretty sweetly. And here you can see, here you'll see the stitches, beautiful consistent stitches, both long and short. And there's also other lengths in the middle there, but here's the other side. You can see the black, of course, being the bobbin thread. What else to show you? I'm going to show you some, I think I'll take a piece of blue jean. This is denim. Sometimes I use a cargo pant, and I'm showing this to you because I want you to see, and you see me do this in other videos, when you're dealing with something like denim, okay, and that's fairly heavy weight. This is actually a size 16 jeans needle. And then, of course, I'm going to have those very dense denim seams. I'm going to have one on each side. So I'm going to go through this so that you guys can see the kind of stitching that a machine like this is willing to do for you. And go back to long straight here. And just like with any of these other fabrics, it was nothing for the machine. This should show up pretty well. This is sort of that bright pink thread that I have. And again, make sure she focuses here. Got good light, but I want to make sure the focus looks right. There we go. And you can see that the stitches, they go right over that seam. They don't lose tension. They don't have any problems. And then here's that black thread on the other side. Black doesn't show up as well, but you get an idea of this. And then lastly, I'm going to show you some garment leather. A lot of people ask me about leather, and it's kind of funny because all of these vintage machines I have, whether it's the Necchi or any of the others, you can sew all sorts of lightweight fabric. You can do quilting squares, you can do free motion embroidery, but many people come to me because they want something that will also sew, you know, the drapery, upholstery fabric, stuff like Sunbrella, and then leather. In this case, this is garment leather. And so I'll sew some stitches here for you so you can see it. And this is not a leather tip needle, and I would really recommend you use that if you're actually going to do more than what I'm doing, which is test stitching. And I'm going to start with my needle down, because whenever you do leather, you want to start with the needle down, particularly if you don't have a leather tip needle. And that's simply because leather has a density that basically other fabrics don't. Of course, I can back tack in leather as well. You can also put a roller foot. I think I have a roller foot for this machine. This leather is feeding fine, but you'll notice that sometimes leather will want to stick because there's a friction thing that goes on with leather and a regular presser foot. But a roller foot takes care of that, and I don't need one in this case. But I think I have one that comes with the machine, so if you ever need it, you can always use that. I'll come over here for my last row. See if I pull my needle up, and I'll come over here and do another zigzag for you. You can do zigzag in leather, of course. And the machine will do this for you all day long. You can also do blind hemming with this if you want to just, do some alterations. But this machine is incredibly flexible. So I'll hold this up so you can see the work I did. What you're seeing are these wonderful straight stitches that went right through the leather, nice and consistent. It's going to be very hard to see my thread on the other side because the suede side of leather tends to block that a bit. But here's that zigzag, okay? Beautiful zigzag. I think the zigzag on the other side will show up a little bit better for you, maybe, yeah. But again, the stitching is excellent on the machine, very strong. Like I say, I sell these to people who do all kinds of projects. They are particularly popular, and I get a lot of requests for Necchis from people who are doing upholstery and leather work. But if you don't do that kind of work, it's still nice to have a machine that is legendary in zigzag. Necchi created zigzag in domestic machines, and when you do a short zigzag stitch on a machine like this, it creates a satin stitch that's just gorgeous. So anyway, if you have questions or you want to set up a time to come and sew on this machine, let me know. I'll be happy to coordinate something with you. You can use any of the materials I have here. I keep quite a variety, but you can also bring any material you have for yourself, and we'll set the machine up for you, and we'll do some test stitching on it and let you take a look. So thanks for watching, folks. I've done restorations on Necchis, many Necchis before. This is one of my favorites. It's one of the most requested. In fact, I've noticed that on YouTube I get almost more views on Necchis than any other machine except for a few of the singers. So thanks for watching and being patient with my rambling. But I obviously love these machines and love bringing them back to life and getting them ready for more lifetimes of sewing. Thank you.